I'll go ahead and introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Olha Kunt. She is Ukrainian by nationality, but she's been based in Turkey since 2009. And she's been working as an English language instructor at the School of Foreign Languages at Cerkovia University. Hope I pronounced that right. Since 2010. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to ELTOC this year, and we're very thrilled to have her speaking on reflecting on classroom practices through action research. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, Olha.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Hello, everyone. It's really amazing to see so many greetings, hello, and good morning, good afternoon from all over the world. Nice to meet you. And welcome to Oxford University Press ELTOC 2021 conference. I'm very happy and honored to be invited to share a knowledge about action research with you today. I hope we will spend interesting time during our session, and we are going to discuss some aspects of action research, because of course this topic demands a bit more time and deeper consideration, but I hope at least we can get some kind of inspiration and help you to make the decision to start your research in your classroom. So here we go, and the topic of our session today is reflecting on your classroom practices through action research, actually. So let's start.
Are you having trouble with the slides, Olha?
Yeah, but it seems like it moves, but
let me see if
I also use my keyboard. Okay. Right, there we go. All right, so here is the very short summary and the outline of our today's session. What are we going to talk about, and where it all starts, and to which point we are going to come in the end. So first of all, as usually, we will speak a bit about the definition. So what is action research? Then we are going to discuss the reasons why actually it's that much popular and all over the world, and why so many ELT teachers just involve themselves, their colleagues, and their students into this interactive and valuable process. Later, we are going to see what are the main 4 stages of action research. So actually, we are going to think about its structure a little bit. And of course, as you are learning, you start to do it. And while doing, of course, you are going to face many challenges. So in this session, I'm going to try to explain what might be the most difficult challenge and how to deal with this. And then, as the latest point, we are going to discuss research instruments. So how exactly can you do this, and what kind of methods and ways can you use to recollect the scientific data so that later you can analyze them and implement in your classroom activities. Okay.
I can help you with the slides if they're
Joshua, if it is okay for, thank you very much.
Just give me just let me know when you want to change.
All right, yeah. So here we are in the first part of our session presentation, and this is about general questions. So what is action research actually? Joshua? Okay, so as we are English teachers, and as we are teaching foreign language for some was many years, and some teachers are just the beginnings, and this is their first years at educational institutions. However, I'm deeply sure that all of us can just, publish the very, very thick book of the teacher stories. Because actually, when you are the language teacher, it is always about the students, about interaction, about their stories, and about your kind of, approaches, advices. So how can you help your students to learn English? This is always about that. And actually, the classic approach and the classical knowledge is about that. So what is your story as the teacher? So action research actually is based on that idea. So as you are the teacher, you know a lot about your students, and you know really a lot of stories, what happened in your classroom, and how you could your students to how you help your students to solve their problems. So action research, it's about reflective teachers. So think like you are like a butterfly, just you are existing in that world, and then you just want to fly, you are ready to fly. So you are not just an English teacher, you are going to be a reflective teacher. So you are going to analyze by yourself what is going on in your classroom, or where are your students, and the most important, you as the teacher, do you have any points to improve? Can you help yourself to improve the quality of your teaching? What exactly can you do to be a better teacher? So these are all about reflection, and we are going to speak about it today. Okay, so I think that will be very, very boring just to, show you the definition of action research. And I know that you are also very talented and very skillful English teachers. So I would like to ask your opinion, guys. So what do you think? What is action research? I invite you to the polls section. You can see it up on your screen. So please go to the poll section and just choose your answer. Please don't forget to push the button submit. Okay. Thank you very much for your answers. So right now, I see that the poll is closed. So we just need a bit, 1 minute of time to see the results. All right. Wow. So impressive. Okay. So the answer B, action research is conducted in order to reflect upon teaching and increase student learning in a specific classroom. That's it. Okay. So why are we here today? You know already everything. Thank you. Yes, that's amazing. You are right. The definition, the exact definition of action research is this. So you started to reflect, you started to improve and increase the results of teaching and learning. Okay. Joshua? Yeah, so here we just wanted to show the correct answer. And now we are going to talk about the features of action research. We are always teaching our students the list of the adjectives. And when you need to describe some object or some concept, you always use adjectives. So what kind of adjectives can you use when we are talking about action research? So this is always evaluative. This is always investigative, analytical, helpful, and effective. I think in general, all of them are equal, but investigative, this is really the correct word. Think like you just wear, Sherlock Holmes cap all the time. You are out of your classroom and you just start thinking, what was it? What were the details? What else can we do? What could I observe? What does this mean? So it is all about questioning. You are always trying to ask more questions about what is going on in your classroom. Joshua? All right, thank you. So right now we are going to another question. All right, let's say we decided, okay, I like it. I would like to start this in my class. So why you should actually do that? Okay, so in general, before you start, you should make two important decisions. So decision number one, are you going to conduct your action research individually, which means that you are alone to do, all the stages and to come to the final writing, or you can work together with your colleague, or I don't know, with 2 or 3 colleagues together as a group of teachers. And in this case, this will become collaborative research. Well, actually, both of them have, both of these ways have their advantages and disadvantages. So actually, that's up to you. And I think it is related with your character, and with your own expectation. A second decision, it is about your role in teaching research. So actually, there are always 2 roles. You are doing teacher research of yourself, by yourself, so you are the teacher researcher in this case, or if you think that you are experienced teacher and you are ready to share your methodology knowledge with younger teachers, or let's say you can friendly assist them to conduct their action research, then you can become the mentor and you can just lead the group of teacher researchers in your institution. Thank you, Joshua. Okay, so what is the purpose and what is the result of all this process? So number one, always, like this, teaching efficacy. This is really, such a hidden truth, but it is how it is. We cannot always pass the top to our students and say, we have a problem in the class because my students are not doing this, or because my students are lazy, or my students don't perform enough. Okay, of course, it is as it is, and we have this, but as a reflective teacher, you should always ask yourself at first, so is your teaching efficacious? So what are you doing in your class and how it reflects on your students? Joshua? All right, so right now we are going to speak specifically. So what kind of actions are included, and what are the 4 stages of action research? All right, so first of all, I really, recommend to do this. You can take these 5 main stages, the list of 5 main stages of action research as your plan. For example, you can print them out and even, just put here on the wall and always see it and always consult it whenever you have any questions, because it is really important to understand step by step what are the stages. So first of all, you should identify the purpose and the scope of your research. So what it will be all about, Okay, secondly, As I told before, you should try to investigate as much as you can and try to find your research questions. So what are you going to ask yourself, and what will be the main hypothesis in your research? So what is it? What is the question? Later, you are going to collect materials, students' answers, and this will be your data. So you will collect it, and then you will analyze it. And as the last stage, you will outline your research plan. So actually, as this is the stage of planning, you do not do it just right now. You are planning how you are going to do it. So actually, before you start your research, and when you think about your research question, you should definitely guess, or at least realize what exactly can you recollect in your class. So what exactly this can be. We'll speak about it later today. And in this way, you are going to outline your research plan. So everything starts with the careful planning, and this is the same about action research. Please outline your research plan at first. Joshua? Thank you. The second stage is actually action itself. So you are doing your research. So you are preparing the tools, you are designing classroom activities, and you are collecting data. Well, the most important thing in this stage is to create your own individual calendar. So, for example, we are right now at second semesters at the university, or you have block 3 and block 4, I guess, at schools. So you know how many weeks are left until summer holiday, let's say. So you can calculate you have 5 or 6 or 8 weeks until the end of academic year, and for each week you can planify different activity. So create your own working calendar, and this will help you to work systematically and recollect data in a good way. Joshua? Okay. When you recollected the data, you are going to answer your research questions, because it will help you also to realize what exactly you are going to do in your classroom to change the situation. And of course, this will be the background, and then in the end, you will develop your own ideas for reflection. Joshua? Okay. In the end, you are going or you are expected actually to write down all your observations, and what were your data, and what your students did, and what you did, and what is the result of your research. So if you would like, actually, you can prepare for the presentation. This might be some, presentation at your institution even, and you can present to your colleagues and to share your experience, or you can prepare an academic publication, and just make it more classical, professional, and upload it to some journals or scientific conferences. So this is up to you. Just this will be, the fruit of your labor, and in any case, you're going to decide how exactly you're going to implement it. So this is it. Okay, Joshua? Right. So here we included the graphic, the visual, and I think this circle really shows us what it is all about. So action research, it is always about its cyclical nature. Think like you are just making the round, and then again you do the second one, and then again you do the third one, and only then you can see the result. So as we mentioned before, at these 4 stages, first of all, you observe what is going on in your classroom. Then you are going to reflect. Like you should have, that aha moment. Like, really? Yeah. Why are they doing this? Or what about me? actually, why I'm doing this? Maybe I should. So, you should have that aha moment of reflection, which should make you thoughtful. So something is wrong. Okay, when you understood, you start to act. So actually, you design your action research plan, and week by week, you are going to implement different activities in your classroom. After that, you evaluate and you see, for example, week 1, week 2, after 2 activities, what happened? Can you see any improvement, or it became even worse? So here is the stage of, evaluating. In the middle, while doing all these activities and in the middle of your research, actually you are evaluating and you are analyzing by yourself. So am I going to the right direction, or this is becoming worse? And then you modify. For example, if you see that it is worse, then it means that the activities that you planned for further weeks, they might not be effective, or this is not okay. So maybe you can change something, maybe you can add something, maybe you need more conversations with your students, maybe more questionnaires, more interviews. So this is it. And then what happens once again? You repeat it. You start observing once again, you reflect once again, you act, you evaluate, and then again you come to this point and you feel, okay, should I keep on like this, or should I try something else? Joshua? Okay, so actually it really looks like this in practice. So you plan, you act, you observe, you reflect. Then you create your revised plan, and you do it once again. You plan, you act, you observe, you reflect. Here, the point is that actually the most difficult is to understand and to realize that not all your ideas are successful. If you plan something, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will 100% work. Maybe it is not okay, maybe it is not suitable, maybe it is not helpful to your students. Just please feel calm and relaxed about it. Research presupposes the mistakes. Research presupposes failure. So if this doesn't work, then your problem still be there. And you should find some other ways of the solution. That's it. Joshua? All right, so we spoke about the stages of action research, and we spoke about its cyclical nature. Okay, that was a bit of theory, but right now here is the most practical question to the point. So what is the biggest challenge? Okay, I invite you once again to our poll session, and would you please be so kind to answer and choose your answer. Please don't forget to submit. Thank you very much for answers. Right now I see that the poll is closed, so we are waiting for the results. All right, so here we are. Joshua, could you please help me about the first answer? I cannot see the percent. What is it?
The first one is 30%.
30. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, so actually we see that choosing your research question and designing classroom activities might be the most difficult in your opinion? Thank you very much for the answers. And right now, let's see the answer. Okay, so actually, the most difficult is to choose your research question, because this is included to the planning of your action research, and this is going to affect everything, including your designing the activities. Because as I told before, it is all about the investigative nature. So if you have a good question, then you can have a very good investigation. It's always like that. So to simplify, the beginning, and to give you a clue where to start from, let's speak about these three main, templates. So where you can start to think about your research question. So they are what question? What is the problem in this class? Think about it. Okay, what about you as a teacher? What puzzles you? What would you like to investigate? So if you start your research from these three questions, this might be a good starting point. But the main idea is this: what is the problem in this class? Okay, Joshua? Thank you. And when you are developing the list of your questions, actually, it would be amazing if they start from these two question words: why and how. When you think about why questions, most probably they will be related with your students. When you start with how questions, this will be about you as the teacher. Joshua? Okay, so how can you observe all this, and how can you, take notes and just keep your, thoughts in a good system and just kept somewhere? Of course, you are going to start your research journal. So this is the advice teachers all over the world are doing this, and for action research, this is really a real treasure. So every time you go out from the classroom, you just please take notes and try to just answer this question. So what puzzles you? What is the problem, and how exactly you can help as the teacher, as a teacher? Next slide, please. Okay, so the most difficult point is this actually. Can I collect enough data? So if you found the problem already, or if you understood so what it is all about, you should also think, can you collect enough data about this question? So for example, if it is about something psychological, or if it is about some, the student's emotional being or something like that, it is really more difficult than the other questions, for example. But if it is something that you can measure easily, or if you can ask your students about this and you know that they are going to give you straightforward answers, okay, this is it. This will work, and this will be the practical solution. Joshua? All right, so let's see, several samples, examples. I just wrote, maybe it can give you a good idea where to start from. So as I told before, what, how, and why, these are our helpful words. Could you please read them? Okay, so normally we ask these questions, and thinking about all of this, we go to the classroom, observe, design our research question, design our calendar of activities, and then start to do them week by week. That's it. Okay, Joshua? Yeah, so right now, we are just going to see each question in the framework. So it's just visual, and it helps you to memorize it and to think about it a little bit more. Okay, Joshua, can we pass this slides, like the questions are showing? Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, I see your question, dear friends and colleagues. Thank you very much. So you are actually thinking already about data collection and how to recollect on that and how to measure them accurately. That's it, right? You are. So let's look specifically over there. Okay, so we have the problem. We have a good question. We know already every week what we are going to do. So actually, by the way, about the activities, I see that it is not, easy. Like, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, what I'm going to do week 8. And we also mentioned that actually it can fail or it can go, in a wrong way. So actually the advice is here. Think about first 2 or 3 activities, implement them in your classroom, and then being involved in action research process, you can modify, you can change, or you can add something else. You see, so it is always vivid and it is always very, very dynamic. So of course you will have your calendar in the end, but start with something, and then while doing it, you will see what is missing or what else you need to complete it. All right. Okay, so about data collection, right now we are going to discuss sample research instruments. So how exactly can you recollect, the data in the class, and how can you measure this in the end? Joshua? All right, so sample tool 1, this is closed questionnaire multiple choice. So as a teacher, you're going to prepare a questionnaire, a survey for your students. The questions can be yes, no questions, or you can prepare some true or false activity for your students, what is going on in your classroom, and you just design the sentences, and then you see what your students are going to answer. Is it true or false about them? Also, you can design some questions that presupposes such answers like never, rarely, sometimes, usually. So this is about frequency, and this is going to help you to measure, the data and the answers according to the frequency. So how often do they do this, or how often don't they do something? So this is it. So the logic here is like this. You give the questionnaire, you ask your students to answer your survey, then you see the answers and you calculate them. So for example, how many true, how many false, how many yes, how many no's, or what usually happens or what never happens in your class. So you will see directly according to the answers. Okay, thank you. Joshua? All right, the second tool might be closed questionnaire ranking. So ranking is the keyword over here. So what? You can put several ideas, and ask your students just to order them according to that. So what is more important? What is less important? Or what do they want to do more? And what is annoying, for example? Or you can ask students what do they like or what do they use most, and delete. So you see, this is again the scale, the rating. So if in their answers you will see that the sentence or the question number 1 appears as the majority, okay, so it means something. Or if you see that they use this most, or they use this the least, this will be also, the sign and the possibility to calculate this and to convert it into percentage. So for example, this much students or 30% of my class use it, but 70% of my class don't like to use it. So you see here you will also see the problematics. So something is going on and you are going to investigate why. Joshua? Okay, open questionnaire. This is also a very useful tool. You do not, create any kind of framework for your students or multiple choice. You just ask their opinion about something. So you can create, you can write down your own questions and just ask your students directly, and then read your students' answer. Actually, if your students are giving their answers for open questionnaire, they just deliver to you their own opinions. So actually, if your action research, let's say it is about writing, or if your action research is about some text, so you can also use the students' own answers with their approval. I mean, if they say that this is okay for them, you can just use their answers in your research and even, show them as the citations or show some sentences from their answers. So if they are the texts, if they are the answers, you can also read them, analyze them, and include them to your publication with students' consent. Joshua? Okay, and another tool, of course, group interviews. Well, about the group interviews, it is really interesting. I think it is also related with, mentality and culture, because in some countries and in some cultures, in some education systems, it is easier to work individually, or some students prefer to work individually and give their own answers, their proficiency, and this is favorized. But in some countries and some education systems, it is always about collective culture, and students really prefer to work in groups and do activities in groups and discuss their opinions in groups, share their opinions. So if you feel like in your country and in your institution, group interviews will work better, so this is the tool for you. So you are going to create the groups, or your students can form their own groups by themselves. You are going to present them your questions, and then the point is that you will ask them to record them. So this can be video recording, or this can be audio recording. So when you have the recording as a file, you are going to tape it, to summarize it, and to write about. I mean, the students, this is the same. So while recording, they are discussing, they are writing down their answers. So in the end, you have video or audio recording, plus you have the students' answers, and all of this is your data. So you are going to calculate and understand what exactly you can measure, and also you can observe, and also you can write the transcription of their sentences and answers and include it to your research. Joshua? Okay, individual interviews, as I mentioned before, it just depends on education system, mentality, and your culture. So if you prefer individual interviews, you can speak with your students one by one, just invite them as a friendly conversation, and maybe you can invite them to think aloud about their thoughts. So if they share, you can also understand what is going on in each student's mind. So you just have the students with your questions, so it looks like the interview, and then you tape it, you record it, and you tape it, and this interview is also your research data. Joshua? Okay, so if we recollected our data, and it is actually something very, very with numbers, and it looks like mathematical data. So as I mentioned before, if your students gave yes, no questions, yes, no answers to questions, It's easy to calculate how many students told yes, how many students told no, let's say. So you can start with different kinds of charts, you know. This can be bar charts, this can be lines, this can be any kind of, you know, variables. You can use PowerPoint presentation. Here it is about smart art button. So you just go there and you choose any visual you would like, and your, you know, percentages data may be converted to such lovely graphics and visuals, and this is going to help you, especially if you are going to present your action research at some conference, or if you're going to present it to your colleagues at your school. Joshua? Okay, as we mentioned before, some data will look like a text in the end, because if your action research is about writing, let's say, most probably you will recollect I don't know, the paragraphs or the essays written by your students. So actually they are very valuable data too. You can find some similar points or some differences like that. So about narrative comparisons, as I told before, if you have your student consent, you can actually even take some parts of their writing and also include to your publication, or it can look like students answer on your poster for the presentation. That's it. Okay, Joshua? So after data collection and after the point that you realized, okay, we have this, we have that, our students answer this way, the problem can be solved in this way. So you came to conclusion and discussion. So you implement the activities in your classroom according to a plan, as we taught before. Once again, I would like to, you know, make the accent that in the beginning of your reflection, it is almost impossible to, you know, guess what it will be in the end. So this is very normal. The point is that you just start from one or two or maybe three activities that you think will work in your class to improve the situation. And then you just add another activities while doing your action research. So in the end, you will have the plan. In the end, you will see how many activities totally you did. In the end, it will be clear what was implemented in your classroom, and then you are ready just to write up your research. Thank you. Joshua? Okay, so for example, I just wanted to show you, this is the article written by my friends and my colleague and me. So it was collaborative action research. So both of us, we were working on that. And then both of us, we created a publication and we wrote up our research. This is its title, by the way. It is free over internet, in the internet. So if you would like, you can find it and read it. And maybe this can be like, you know, a sample documents. I hope it may help you somehow, or just to see how it looks in the end. So we encourage, you know, to write up the researches and publish them over the internet, because as you are a reflective teacher, as you are a practitioner teacher, you really know a lot about teaching and what is going on in the classroom, and that is why, you know, your experience and your achievements are really, really valuable for teachers all over the world and ELT community. Joshua? Okay, so please do not worry. I don't want you to read every single letter here at this page right now. No need. I just wanted to show you my poster. I mean, this was my poster for the presentation. We were very lucky because before pandemic, action research conferences were held in Istanbul, in Turkey, at one of the universities, and we were going there. We had the great chance to go there and present our action research as the poster presentation. So if you remember, in the beginning of our session, we were talking about cyclical nature of action research. So it all just starts from the point and then goes like a circle, and then you come in the end to your result. So this is the same. I just wanted to give you an idea how you can organize, graphically or visually what you did. So you see, number one, number two, like definition, questionnaire, and then I wanted to show methodology. So what kind of activities students did, what was included in my calendar. So in right down corner, you can see what the students did. And each week, what was the implementation of the activities. Then the pink paper, that was conclusion. And in the end, some, pie charts. So they show the results and what, where did we come in the end. Okay, Joshua. Okay, this is another one. As I mentioned before, they were the conferences in Istanbul about action research, and that was another year. So this time my action research was about writing and note-taking. So how can we help our students to develop a better organized paragraph, something like that. And as you see before, so as you can see, so the first stage was here with questionnaires. So I asked the students what is their difficulties. When the second graphic shows that the problem is about note-taking, then implemented several activities. And here at the down of this page, you can see students' work. So actually, what are the techniques of note-taking, for example, in this specific case, and what are, how does this look, for example? So I included students' examples. And then as we were working in the form of individual interviews, I just included students' answers and showed what are their answers, what are their opinions, what are their suggestions about this topic. And in the end, the blue one, you can see the bar chart. So what are the results of our action research and where did we come in the end? So note-taking is actually very, very effective technique, and all students improve their results due to note-taking. Something like that. Okay, Joshua. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope just you have several questions or something is triggering your mind or you're curious about something. So if so, I invite you to pass to our questions and answers section.
Hello, Oha. We've got a list of questions already throughout the presentation, so I'll pop them up on screen
really?
one by one. So let me pop
nice.
one
Thank
on
you.
screen now. You should see the question on screen.
Thank you. What a good question. Yeah. Here is that. Well, thank you very much, Aniko, for this great question. Well, if you remember, in the beginning of our session of today, I mentioned that this is actually your choice to start from individual action research or to do it in a collaborative way. So if you work together, let's say you are two people with your colleague, it's nice and it's the best if both of you are friends. So if you start your research in a collaborative way with your friend, so you just finish your classes and then you come and you say, okay, let's drink coffee together. Let's just discuss what happened today. What could you observe? What are the news? What is the problem in your class? Or even while going home, from the university going home, we were just chatting, using the messages to discuss what was this today. If well, actually, in general, if you go to your administration and you just mention that you are going to start action research, in most cases, they really favorize it and they really say, yes, we are very interested. Please start it. Please do it. So they also try to help, For example, they can give you maybe a bit less teaching hours, or maybe you can just ask for the permission some half of a day once a week as your office hours, just to deal with your action research. So this is actually up to you, and everything about flexibility and everything about your own enthusiasm. This is it. I mean, if you really want it, if you are enthusiastic by yourself, yeah, you will find time. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put another one on screen now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Look through these. How about this one?
Okay. Okay, Gergana, thank you very much for your question. My biggest challenge was about, psychologically it was even difficult, because of self-confidence and because of encouragement. For example, in my case, I really needed the mentors. I didn't know how can I do this by myself, but we are very lucky because we had our friend Sedan. She was the mentor in our group, so she was really friendly, encouraging, and then we came to the point of peer encouragement, peer mentoring. So as I mentioned before, a friend of mine and me, we started to peer mentor each other. So that's it. And about research itself, my biggest challenge was about finding out what will be my research question. That is why I wanted to retell it today, in details. So if you find very right and good research question, then all your research goes smooth. This is. Thank you very much for your question.
All right, thank you. Let me find one more.
Mm-hmm.
How about this one?
Okay. Well, yes, Jobert, I think I read your name correctly. Thank you very much for your question. Well, yes, if you go over internet, please just Google it. There are really, really, huge amounts of theory and theoretical framework and different works over internet about action research. Firstly, native speaker countries like the UK and Anne Burns from Australia, they were, writing the articles, and they actually created theoretical framework for action research in English. Last year's action research is very popular in India, in Pakistan, and all Latin America countries. So teachers, there are so many researchers, so many teachers, associations, they publish their work. So you can see a lot of action research templates, examples, different researches over internet. So as much as you read, and if you can just see and look through and read what the other teachers did, this will also give you a very good idea where you can start from and how it will be. I highly recommend to read the action researches of another teachers, or you can also find the booklets from the past conferences, like the PDF files. So let's say before pandemic, there was a conference about action research, and most probably they published the booklet or the book or the PDF file. So you can find action researches by teachers from this also. Okay, thank you.
All right, let me get one more up here. this one about the research question.
Okay, Marlon, thank you very much for a question. Well, yes. So, writing research question. Well, once again, this is the same. Just start with W question, what? This is your starting point. So just ask yourself, what is the problem? What puzzles me? What can I do more in this classroom? Yeah, something like that. So the practical suggestion is to ask the questions to yourself and try to find out what is the problem. If you just, first come with this simple question and then with some simple answer, well, the practical suggestion actually is a teaching journal here. I told you that if you just keep your teaching journal and you just try to take notes and write some details or something that makes you thoughtful, something that happened today, and then it will really help you to give your answer on this question. So what is the problem? And what exactly is going on there, and what we are going to investigate. That's it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We've got time for a couple more, so let me put another one on screen. How about this one?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your question, Igor. Well, I think that literature review comes when you design your activities at your stage 1, when you are planning your research. And again, stage 1, you are thinking about your research question. So as I mentioned before, you can read the action researches, which were performed by the teachers from all over the world before you. This really gives a good idea how what it is all about. And secondly, you can really read a lot and just establish your own literature review, system, and maybe some Mendeley file on your computer, with different chapters about different activities. So what exactly you can choose, or what exactly can you implement in your classroom. So literature review, this is stage 1. Planning your action research. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. We had several questions on what recommendations you would have for someone wanting to learn more. You briefly touched on it, but do you have any other resources that teachers could access
Okay,
to learn
can
more
you
about
find
action
any books,
research?
resources to learn how to plan and research design? Okay, Sandra, thank you for your question. So Joshua, is it okay? Can I name them here?
Yes, that's fine. We've
Okay.
got some
So
recommendations.
actually, thank you. Well, yes, about the resources and about the books, there is an organization and association in the UK, which is called IAEFL, so International Association of English Language Teaching. This is it. And there is Professor Richard Smith. He is, in my modest opinion, the most successful mentor in the global, understanding right now. So Professor Richard Smith, he just performed a lot of amazing work, in Latin America, in India, in Pakistan. He was also here in Turkey. Right now he works in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, I think. Yeah. So actually he created, the community of teachers. And the association also publishes a lot of good materials about action research. There are also the sessions on YouTube, which are called EVO, Action Research, also sponsored and created by this association. By the way, this year, just recently in January, they had 4 free weeks of sessions related to action research. Moreover, they classify them, so you can find the sessions to teacher researchers, so this is separately, and there are also totally another section and totally another links and moderators for mentors of action research. So just go over the internet and search about the association and about Richard Smith. There is also a lady, her name is Anne Burns. She is from Australia, and she is a very experienced academician and a very experienced teacher. She also published a lot of materials, written materials, articles, PDF files for teachers all over the world, and step by step they are explaining how to start your research, how to conduct your action research, and how to come to good results. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ola, for answering all those questions and for the wonderful presentation. We're out of time for this session, so I just want to again thank you for a wonderful talk, and I'm sure everyone got a lot out of it. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Joshua. Bye-bye.
Thank you.